All right, we are all the way down the Korean esports rabbit hole here. I am standing outside of the oGs practice house, just a little bit outside of Seoul. This is where all the players on oGs and a handful of guys from Team Liquid as well. They live here, they practice here. I mean, Starcraft is basically their life here in this house. So we're gonna head inside and see how these guys live and play.
Okay, this is the entrance, and if you come this way, here a bit messy, but our smaller living room. This is where we normally just chat and watch TV during free time. Over here on this side, this is where the players, somewhat where the Korean players sleep. So a bunch of bunk beds, and the room is normally only used for sleeping, so it's pretty empty. Here are all the players playing. Very busy right now because GSL qualifications are in 2 days. The other side is our kitchen. Oh, this is a rice cooker for enough for 40 people at once, and we have more just in case. Because the kids, I mean, they're at their early 20s when they eat at the maximum, and they eat 5 times a day. We always have to be ready. We don't want to run out of food. More beds, more bunk beds everywhere. This is where normally the Team Liquid guys sleep. And the bathroom that they're using behind you. This is our uniform. Yeah, the ones that are always on TV. Yeah. Here's our schedule for this month. So the qualifications are coming on the 15th and 16th, which is on Monday, in 2 days, today is Saturday. And starting from the 18th, we have a G-Star tournament in Busan. And it seems like it's going to be a very busy month.
Primarily this is an oGs house, but you guys have some players from Team Liquid here. How long have they been around, and is there any kind of friendly rivalry or competition between the teams? I mean, these guys, ultimately are going to be competing against each other in the GSL. So.
Every single person here are going to be competing against each other. So I mean, players are rivals with every other player. But like Team Liquid is more of a friendly thing. I'm good friends with their manager Nazgul, and it's always great to have some foreigners in the Korean scene. And I always do what I can to kind of connect Korea to the foreign scene together. So I invited them over, and it's also really good for them with a good practice atmosphere and stuff. So I think it's working out great.
Okay, cool. So practicing is basically just a full-time occupation, right? I mean, none of these guys are working day jobs or have any other real primary responsibilities, right?
Yeah, of course not. They're professional gamers, yeah. And they're paid to do what they're doing right now, and hopefully they can have a very successful career. Yeah.
What does that filtering process entail when you bring new players into the house? Are you kind of like jumping guys in, or you like everybody piles on them and like just puts them through the paces and sees, how good they are like match after match?
Yeah, and normally, I mean, we have to be very careful and selective with who we choose. So because the moment they join the team, it's not like if they do bad for 2 weeks, we just tell them to leave or anything. So we're very serious about every single player, and we watch them play for a very long time until we choose who's going to come. And yeah, that's how it normally works.
So can you tell us a little bit about like what kind of their daily schedule is like? Like what time do these guys get up? What does their sort of practice schedule look like throughout the day? Like what are the demands of being in this house and practicing as a pro gamer here?
Basically, the guys wake up around 11 in the morning. They kind of wash and get together and get in front of their PC between 11 and 12. Start off the day by getting their first breakfast, and normally it's best for the players to start playing right after they wake up in the morning, because they concentrate really well during the time right when you wake up. So we start off with our internal ranking league to determine who's the best player in this room every single day, and we see everybody's stats, and that's how we normally prepare for tournaments.
Once you're in the middle of the season, and these guys have seen their brackets, they know who they're going up against, how intensive does the training get? I mean, are you guys pulling down replays of their next opponents and like totally just ripping them apart and dissecting all their builds and kind of practicing against those specific things, or is practicing more of like a general kind of comprehensive sort of process?
It's never a general thing, and set kind of makes it. It's whatever you can imagine. Of course, they do whatever they can possible to get as much data of the opponent, and like every type of replay, whatever they can. They ask everyone within the team to play like how that guy plays, how their opponent plays, and try to come up with more strategies for the psychological part of the game. Because like maybe you can do like a very cheesy game the first game to mess with this edge in the second game, so on and so forth. So they plan out like the whole thing like from start to end. So sometimes the build orders collide. Like you prepare this way for an opponent, but the opponent ends up playing completely differently, and then you're completely vulnerable. So you just lose you play a pretty straightforward bad game. So it looks kind of bad for the viewers, but normally everybody is always preparing that hard for each game.
So life has kind of changed under the GSL with GOM TV running stuff. With Starcraft 2, things used to be kind of a lot more restrictive than they are now. Can you kind of contrast the old days of Pro Brood War with how things have kind of opened up now with Starcraft 2?
When we were underneath KESPA, things were much more strict and tight, and players didn't really have that many authorities, and we weren't allowed to. I mean, it depended on the team, but like, if I compare with politics, this being with KESPA is more like being under a communist state.
Okay.
And right now in StarCraft 2 with GOM operating everything, it feels more like the United States, a free country. Okay. So yeah, that's all I can really say. I mean, it gets very complicated when it gets into details.
Sure.
So
I'm here with Liquid Ret right now. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good.
Cool.
Just played some games, so yeah.
Like, how late every night are you guys going before you've kind of gotten through all your practice regimen for the day?
I was done at like 11 p.m.
Really?
But it was like a busy day because we had to go buy a pillow, and Huck had to go buy a monitor.
Yeah.
It's like at least a 6-7 hour commitment, I would say.
Okay. I'm here with Chris Laranger. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Good enough. Better known, however, as Liquid Huck. You're with Team Liquid. So you are freshly transplanted here to Korea. You just came off of MLG Dallas. You've been playing in North America, but you are here in Korea and getting ready for the qualifiers for GSL 3. What was the process? What was the decision-making process that led you to think, all right, I got to go to the heart of all this stuff and just like compete for the highest level?
Well, for me, I always wanted to be the best, and I still want to be the best.
Fair.
So, I mean, to be the best, you have to practice with the best in the best situation, which is, in Korea with real Korean pro gamers, and, with a good practice schedule and a team around you to support you, and, that's what this is, basically.
What was practicing and competing like for you before? Were you just like kind of living on your own and practicing just on BattleNet out of your house? Did you have like a local practice group to help you out, or is this a much more structured approach for you?
No, this is definitely way more structured. I was basically playing a lot of ladder games, and I was living with my 2 roommates and just, playing a lot. I played some customs, but not a ton. And, whenever you go to LANs and stuff, you talk with other players and you talk about strategies and stuff. You learn how important it is to have teammates around you that you can talk strategy with, and they can give you different perspectives on many aspects of your game. And that's why, I think everybody ideally wants to end up in Korea if they want to be the best.
Sure.
Up until 2005, I was pretty active in the non-Korean scene, which was not as big as the Korean scene. And then in 2009, I actually went to Korea before to join the Eastro team for a couple of months to play StarCraft 1. So, this whole experience isn't exactly new for me.
Okay.
So,
all right, our interruption of house practice time continues. I've grabbed Jonathan Walsh, better known as Liquid Genro. How are you doing today, sir?
Better.
Better.
Everyone got infected after going to MLG.
Yeah, so yeah, you're just coming off of a big win at MLG Dallas.
Yeah.
Obviously, the life of a StarCraft pro gamer is not an easy one. I mean, you guys all picked up illness on the way back.
Yeah.
Does that tend to happen a lot as you're flying around the world to all these different tournaments?
Well, I would assume it does. I haven't really flown a lot.
Oh.
It's like one of the first international events I go to, aside from playing in Korea.
Okay.
But I would guess it's pretty common, yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been over here in Korea living and practicing?
2.5 months now, I think.
Okay.
So, been a while.
Yeah. How has your game improved since you've been here? Do you feel like it's been like leaps and bounds, or you just get
Oh
all
yeah.
kinds of new
Oh
information?
yeah. Leaps and bounds. It's not the same player that went here at all. At all. Like everyone used to say, I played very European style, which I've been like a euphemism for bad.
Yeah.
But now they say I play Korean style.
Yeah. Are you feeling like you're just like entering a whole new world of like super high levels of strategy here, or are you just seeing a lot of eye-opening stuff?
I think the Korean server's better. I don't think it's a lot better than the North American or European servers. It's definitely a different style, and there's a lot of new, innovative stuff that they do that hasn't really hit the West Hemisphere yet. So I mean, it's nice being like, you know, there when it's happening instead of waiting a week and then it hits our servers and it's like, oh, okay, I see what he did there. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely learning a lot, and hopefully I can catch up and then start making my own new builds too, and you know, help with that process.
All right, now I'm here with oGs Zenio. We have rudely interrupted his practice session so we could take just a few minutes out to talk to him. Here we are in the oGs house, obviously, but you guys have now got some American transplants from Team Liquid living with you guys. How's it been having those guys in here? Do you feel like everybody's kind of getting along pretty well? Do you actually feel like, are you picking up any kind of unique builds or any strategies that you hadn't really thought about before from these guys?
또 생활하는 데 있어서는
The foreign players have different styles from Korean players. It really helps me build unique strategies for the game. And in terms of living with them at this house, I think it's great because I want to learn English, and I'm trying to speak as much as I can with them. So I think it's great to have them here.
GSL 3 qualifiers right around the corner a few days from now. How are you feeling about your chances going in? What do you feel like you need to do between now and then to really get ready and make it through?
Working my TVC.
Yeah.
I have like every week I have a different matchup that I need to work on because the players in the ranking groups, like depending on what races they are, I always have 1 week matchup. Like before MLG, like 2 weeks before, there was only one Protoss in the same league as me, so I got no TVP practice.
Yeah.
Then they got 4 Protoss and 1 Zerg, so now my TVC is terrible. It like switches around.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be ready. Hopefully I qualify, and I mean, obviously if I don't, I'll be pretty pissed. But I don't know. I'm working hard, and I'm gonna continue to work hard, and hopefully I get there and I'm ready when I'm there.
So for the second season of the GSL, you've had some of the biggest names in Starcraft Pro Gaming come back out of retirement and play. You know, you've had Slayer's Boxer and Nada on your team are in the GSL now. How do you feel about guys with names as big as those entering the fray, kind of mixing it up with you guys? Is that intimidating at all, or are you just happy to have the challenge to take guys like that on?
근데요. 어렸을 때부터
These are star players, Boxer and Nara. I used to watch on TV. I used to learn from their moves.
큰 무대에서
I think it's an honor that I'm able to join the league and play against them.
하게 될 수 있다는 거.
And I don't feel intimidated by them at all.
You're the oGs member who made it the furthest in this season of the GSL. How do you feel about your performance, how far you got, and what happened after you got knocked out? The player who knocked you out in ST has kind of moved on to the finals, so how do you feel about how all that stuff shaped up?
그런 방송 경기에 대한 자신감을
It was too bad that I lost 3-0 to Nesty. I tried my best since I was the last man standing for our team, but I've gained much experience. Hopefully, get into the finals the next season.
I didn't want to bring this up, but then I looked over your shoulder and saw a mothership. So how's that rush doing? Have you perfected that strategy yet, or tell me how that's going?
No, people always ask me like if I practice it or not, and I don't practice it. It's like all of a sudden I'm just in a tournament, and then I'm like, hey, guess I'm just gonna mothership rush this game. I don't know, and then it works out or it doesn't, and people love me or hate me, but I really don't practice it. So I might use it, but I don't know, just winging it, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, guess I can wait until that ended.
Where am I here? How are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, there's just a little taste of life as a pro gamer here in Korea. So we're actually off right now to go see where the rubber meets the road at the GSL finals.